If you're currently struggling to use your frequent flyer points in order to book business class to Japan, then this video is going to be an absolute game changer for you. In today's video, I'm going to take you through step by step and show you the exact booking walkthrough on how we can get to and from Japan in business class. Now, usually I harp on about the importance of earning Amex Platinum membership points so we have the ability to transfer them to 12 different airlines. And while it is possible getting to Japan with Velocity points, in today's booking walkthrough, I'm going to be specifically talking about Qantas points. So now that we know that we just need Qantas points, how many points do we actually need in order to book business class? You'll need about 82,000 Qantas points for each way that you travel in business class, whether that's to Japan from Australia, it's going to cost you 82,000 points. Or coming home is also going to cost you about 82,000 Qantas points. Now this rate is assuming that you're leaving from East Coast Australia to Japan. Now something to mention is that it is considerably cheaper going from Brisbane to Tokyo as opposed to Sydney or Melbourne to Tokyo. But on this note, there is something very important to pay attention to. Sometimes you will see very cheap fares in business class that are about 50,000 points. These are a trap. Do not book them. These cheaper fares are very likely on Jetstar. Jetstar does not have the type of business class cabin that we are looking for. If we are going to be flying business class, we want to ensure that we are doing so in a lie-flat business class seat. A lie-flat business class seat means that the seat fully converts into a lie-flat bed that you can sleep in, which is going to be very handy for a 10-hour flight to Japan. Jetstar technically have a business class cabin, but it is not a lie-flat seat. Their business class cabin is very basic and it is pretty much equivalent to premium economy for most other airlines. So that is just something very important to pay attention to. I will actually show you exactly what I mean in the booking walkthrough in a second. Now, before I take you over to my computer and we go through the exact steps in the booking walkthrough, something to mention is there are multiple ways of getting to Japan with Qantas points. One way you can get to Japan with Qantas points is going to be Jetstar, but I'm not going to spend any time talking about that. Do not use your points flying to Japan with Jetstar. Instead, you want to find flights on one of two airlines. First being Qantas. Qantas have a nice business class seat with a lie-flat bed. That would be great if we can find a business class reward seat with Qantas. The second option is going to be booking through JAL. JAL stands for Japan Airlines, and they also have a good business class cabin. Now, something to note here is that if you're flying out of Sydney and you're going to Tokyo and you're doing so somewhat last minute, often you can actually get first class on JAL. So for those of you who have never traveled first class, if you are going to Tokyo, I would also consider just quickly checking to see if there was any first class availability as well. In order to book first class, it's going to be about 130,000 Qantas points, but it's first class. Whenever that's available, I always book that. I'm not going to go through any of the details in today's video as it's purely for business class, but if you would like me to make a video on getting to Tokyo in first class, just leave a comment letting me know. So now that we know how many points we need and what type of points we need, we can now jump over to my computer and I'm going to show you step by step exactly how we can book it. Before I do that, if you do like this sort of content, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so I know that this sort of content is valuable to you. Now let's go over to the computer and I'll show you how we can book this. Hey guys, I'm now over at my computer where I'm going to show you the exact steps you need to do in order to book business class to Japan. So instead of going on the Qantas website or the Velocity website and individually searching through specific routes, for example, Sydney to Tokyo, Melbourne to Tokyo, Brisbane to Tokyo, and then going through individual dates like January the 1st, and then if there was no availability, going to January the 2nd, and so on. Instead, a much more efficient way is using Seats.aero. On Seats.aero, I can search through the Qantas and the Velocity website at the same time. I can also search a whole year's worth of availability in a matter of seconds, and then I can filter it through to see which flights have business class reward availability. So let's go ahead and go through the exact steps we do in order to do that. So to start with, we will click on search. Now you will need a Seats.aero Pro account. If you are interested in joining them, then please use my referral code in the video description. From here, I'll just reset this. A couple of things that I want to show you before we even start our search. Click multi-city codes, learn these codes if you're going to frequently be finding flights. But for today's example, I'm going to use AUL, which is Australia Large Airports, and they don't have it here, but TYO stands for Tokyo's airports. So I'll go back into the search. AUL is going to show us from Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide and Perth, and destination airports TYO is going to show us Tokyo's major airports. From here, departing date, I want to be somewhat flexible with this. I'm just going to put in May here and click on this plus or minus button. I want to add 180 days here just to show us the whole calendar year of availability so I can figure out which dates work best for me. From here, you do have advanced filters that you can use. I'm going to leave all of this off, but if it was applicable to you, just go ahead and adjust it. I'll then click search and wait for this data to load. From here, I can click on business, and that's going to sort through all of these flights ranked by the lowest amount of points required to travel in business class. You can see here that the points required are going to change just depending on the route and the airline. So you've got 51,000 points here. You do want to be very careful with these flights because they are Jetstar flights. The way that you can tell, I personally know just by the amount of points required. But if you click on the little I and then go business, you can see Jetstar flight. It will actually tell you which airline this is with. You do not want to book business class with Jetstar. Jetstar do not have lie flat seats. So instead of being in a lie flat, comfortable bed for 9 or 10 hours or whatever it is to get to Japan, you're going to be in a fairly upright position in basically a premium economy seat, even though they call it business class. You've got flights from Brisbane to Tokyo with Qantas, which is 68,000 points. That would work. That's going to have the right sort of seat. So that is the first tip, is just be sure that you're booking a lie flat seat. Now, when I am searching this data, I want to make sure that I clicked business class first, then hold down shift and click on date. What it is doing now is it's searching through business class availability, ranked by lowest amount of points required, and then it's also putting it in a nice order for us. So I can search via the earliest flight date through to the latest flight date. From this data, I want to keep it fairly broad. All I am doing is scoping out which months have the best availability. We've got some in June here, July, March looks like it's the most availability right now. That's a mixture of Qantas and Velocity. July, August. So it appears like June, July, August are going to be our best bets. We do want to check flights coming home, as that will have some influence as to which dates we travel with. So I've now clicked search. This is showing us flights from Tokyo back to Australia. Again, I'll click on business, hold down shift, click on date. What I'm doing is I'm just searching through these months to see the availability. So we've got September, August, June, July. What were these other ones? We've got March, August. These are with Jetstar. We want to disregard them. September. So you've got September. Oh, these are still with Jetstar. So you've got March. So pretty much this first page here, a lot of this data is not going to work because it's with Jetstar. Second page is what we want to pay attention to. You've got late August here. These are going to work. Late August may work. So we've got late August flights here arriving in Sydney. These appear to be with Qantas. So we'll go back to the first search, see if we can find something around mid-August. So now we're back here, click business, hold down shift, click date, page 2. So we've got Sydney in early August. This may work. Mid-August may work. You've also got Sydney here in late August. So what I would do is just choose dates that are going to work best with you, but you're pretty much trying to marry up both your flights to Japan and from Japan. So when you're first searching, getting a rough idea on which months have the best availability, and then coming back and getting more specific with the dates. So from here, I'm going to assume that we want to be in Japan for a few weeks. So the 6th of August is going to work for me. So Sydney to Tokyo, 82,000 points. I'll click on this little I just to make sure it's a lie flat seat. It's a business class lie flat seat on the 6th of August, which is great. Just ensure that we remember HND, and then I'll go back to my flight coming home. Click on business, click on date. Page 2 data. Now I've got the 6th of August flight there, so this may work. If I only wanted 10 days in Japan, this flight would work. So HND to Sydney, 82,000 points. Click on business. It's a lie flat seat, which is great. So now that we've got some flights, we would go to the Qantas website to book that. So we've got the 6th of August and we've got the 16th of August. Let's go over to the Qantas website and I'll show you how to book it. So when you've arrived at the Qantas website, what we're going to do is we're going to go to the multi-city search tool. And the way we get there is just clicking anywhere on this normal search bar and then hitting multi-city search. The multi-city search tool is a really useful tool because it's going to show us a full month of calendar availability all at once. It's also useful because you can book multiple flights at once as well. So let's put in the flights that we found. So Sydney to Tokyo on the 6th of August. I'll then put in Tokyo to Sydney on the 16th of August, which is what we found. Click search. Once this data has loaded, it's going to show us different cabin classes that we can book. So we wanted to find a business class seat, which we knew existed on the 6th of August, and the business class seat on the 16th of August. The business class ribbons are these little goldy bronze looking things. So now I'll click continue. Once this data has loaded, we can then find the reward seat that we were looking for. So you've got here one business class reward seat, Sydney to Tokyo, 10 hours on Qantas. Just always double check the flight details. It's telling us here it's A330. You can click the seat map just to ensure it's a lie flat business class seat. But for this route, I know that it is. And then from here, scroll down and then there's our flight coming home as well. 16th of August, Tokyo to Sydney, QF, all those flight details are there for you. Now, I actually don't have enough points in my Qantas account to take you any further than this, but you would just follow the prompts and you can book the flight that way. I hope this video has been useful to you. If you do have specific routes you'd like me to talk about in the future, please leave a comment and I'll get round to them. If you enjoy this type of content, I would really appreciate it if you gave it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel so I know that this type of content is helping you. That is all for today's video. I will see you in the next one.